Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, tonight we'll be speaking all about obsession. Now, what's the difference between a healthy interest in someone or something or an obsession? Now, we've got some interesting guests tonight, including Debbie Wood and her husband, Steve. Now, Debbie was recently named the most jealous woman in the world. I wonder why. So we're going to be finding out all about her in after the break, actually. And we have some other guests on tonight as well. But also we have the news with Rihanna, first of all. So let's say hello to Rihanna. Hello.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm always good.
Ever been obsessed with anything or anyone?
Have I? I don't know. I used to be obsessed with marbles. That's not an obsession, is it?
I never know what she's going to come out with, this girl.
Well, I don't think I was obsessed with marbles. I think it was just because I really wanted to win and beat my cousins. So you got the.
Wasn't that just a hobby rather than an obsession, though?
Then I don't think. It depends on what obsession.
Oh, you're going to ask me for a definition, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Define obsession.
It's when that thing is the centre of your attention all the time, and you just can't think of anything else, and you just have to have it or be with it or whatever.
I think I've been obsessed with myself.
Sorry?
I've been obsessed with myself.
Really? Have you really? Or are you just messing around?
No, I'm messing around. But it's, some people can be.
Oh, we do have someone else on the sofa, because I don't know if you can hear him giggling. Can we get Chris Brown in the shot here? He's our self-development coach that's on with us weekly. Hey Chris, how are you?
I'm good.
So I'm going to be getting, I know you're normally on the final part of the show, but I'm going to be getting your opinion on a few things too tonight.
Oh, of course, obsession. Yeah, I'd love to talk about it.
Ever been obsessed with anything or anyone?
Have I been obsessed with anything? I used to be obsessed with training when I was younger.
Training?
Yeah, training. I used to make sure that, I used to do martial arts from a child all the way up to an adult. And there used to be those who were senior were a lot better at the end of the day. And I'd put things in my head that if I don't get up and train in the morning, this would happen. Or if I don't do this, that time, that would happen. And I'd keep training all the time. Yeah. It was an obsession. Yeah,
I can relate to that. I was also obsessed to weight training.
Yeah.
Weight training, I'll tell you why a bit later on, but I was literally in the gym every day doing weights and then aerobics class after aerobics class. I was really obsessed with exercise, but there was a reason behind it. But let's talk to Rihanna first with the news before we get into the obsession stuff.
Yes.
Tell us.
I don't know if this counts as an obsession, but it might do. I know recently I've been coming up with this really, really weird news. It's not me, it's the news. There's a lovely young lady who she believes that in her previous life she was an elf. So in order to make that, reality and concrete, she decided to get her ears done. So she kind of chopped her ears off and then had them made pointy. No. So that's her normal, how her ears used to look like before. And then she went under surgery.
Why?
And then the final results, she had the pointy elf ears.
Oh gosh.
So, she's always believed in these mystical fantasy things, and she really, really believed that she was an elf. So she wanted to make it happen. She wanted to make it real, and she decided to save £250 and went for that surgery. And funnily enough,
who was the bright spark that allowed the surgery to go ahead?
I have no idea, but maybe friends and family supported her.
The only thing is, what happens in like 10 or 20 years' time when she actually realises that she was indeed not an elf and she's stuck with elf ears?
She could always go under the knife again and just make them round.
But they're getting smaller and smaller, aren't they? There'll be nothing to work
Stretch
with anymore.
It. And you know what? She has friends that use it against their children. So when the children misbehave, like Santa's gonna get the elves on you, or I'm going to get the elves on you, and then when they don't believe their parents, but then when they see her, because she'll be like ooh, and they get scared. I feel sorry for the kids, but I don't know, healthy obsession, maybe not, who knows.
Not at all.
You'll let us know later on, Chrissy.
Okay.
Hopefully. But yeah, do you know earlier you were telling me about your lipstick? I have to bring that up because it makes
I just asked if I had lipstick on, that was all.
Well, to be quite honest, there's many, many women that go, they would go out, nights out, or, for a lovely meal after work. And they always run back into ladies to put on more lipstick because they don't think it lasts long enough. So there's like tips to make you have that, I want to make up a name for it, an all-night lip gloss or something like that. But they prep their lips. So they remove all the waste first, like if there's any...
Who does that? Who preps?
No, that's what the specialists say you've got to do.
Okay, yeah.
If you want to have that lipstick looking fresh all day. You have to prep it. And there is, primer for lips now.
Oh, very good.
So you prep your lip, and then you have to use lip liner. I did try this earlier on, but I don't think it worked properly. You use lip liner, and then you kind of, what's the word? You use the tissue to kind of dab some away, and then you reapply it, and it lasts longer. I don't know, how do you remove and then add and make it last longer?
I have no idea. And I'm sure our male viewers are falling asleep right now, including Chris Brown here on the side.
But, you know, he can pass it on to the missus. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
She will love to have that.
Make sure you pass that on, Chris.
I'll pass it on.
You've got to, because if you don't, then she will probably be very upset with you. I'm kidding. But talking about male viewers, men and women, okay, they have this saying where men are from Mars and women are from Venus. That saying, well, men and women see beauty in a different way. Sometimes men, you know, you'd think men have an artificial view of beauty compared to women, but there was a study done and it appears that women are more artificial when they see beauty.
Really?
They did an experiment where they asked the men to kind of identify what they would think is a beautiful woman, and what did they do? They said somebody's lips, somebody's eyes, and somebody's eyebrows. So it was just natural looking things. This is the men's view of beauty. I don't know. She doesn't look weird. I think there's a bit of Keira Knightley there. There's Keira Knightley. It's like trying to create the perfect face.
Think, and
this is what women think. So do you see?
Let's go back a minute.
I don't know.
Chris, tell us.
Is it saying that the men? Well, I'm looking at the two different ones, and I'm seeing a lot of hair here. I'm seeing the eyes particularly, right? And is that what it is that you're saying all the men were looking for?
Yeah, it's like just to have a, I don't know, kind of a naturalish.
So these are the things that would attract a man first of all, right? And
so this is how they see the beauty. But then women, they kind of want to go a bit all out.
Really?
I don't know. I think so. Maybe because they say blondes have more fun.
The lips are fuller, I suppose, on this one. Maybe more defined.
And the eyes as well. Do you see how they they're bigger? So it's like bigger eyes and bigger lips and brighter hair.
It's not that much difference, I don't think, to be honest, between the two.
Just not as big a hair on the other one.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Anyway.
I know, I kind of really like talking about beauty, but let's move on to some more important things. Well, in business, they say if you have a certain surname, you're more likely to have a managerial role. That's what they say, managerial.
Hang on, tell me more, because Chris is nodding.
It is, isn't it?
I'm not agreeing. Tell me.
Yeah, because there are people who have surnames like King, Trump, Cook. They get up the career ladder far.
Just because of a name?
Yeah, because of their surname.
Not fair.
And those who have, you know, it's the, what do you call that word? Sorry, I really can't pronounce it. That's the word. I'll get tongue twisted there. But yeah, if they have names like that, they're more likely to have managerial roles like high in power. But then you have those who have not so great sounding name, like Cook, Farmer. They kind of remain lower. Sorry.
Really bad.
I know, but it was a study that they did in German. They went over, I think, 223,000 names, and they kind of sift through them, and they decided that those who have that kind of name, they were lower on the career ladder than those who had the names of Trump.
Yeah, but is it because, how does that work out? I'm a bit confused.
I'd see that it's a case of
because it's a noble sounding
names,
thing, isn't it?
They're associated with certain things, aren't they? And plus the other thing,
but are they more likely to be given an interview because of the surname?
I think so, for certain roles. At the end of the day, like if you've got certain double-barrel names, they sound quite good, don't they? And it automatically attracts people. It's a sort of subliminal thing going on.
So if anyone's called Farmer or Cook, they should change their name by default then, is what we're saying.
Well, better chances, that's all. It's not right, but it does happen.
Yeah.
That really surprises me.
I remember reading about it, yeah. Yeah, it's strange.
So if you were called, like, was it Sarah Marie?
Sort of things that have double first names.
Like,
they tend to be those in control or, you know, have that position.
Like James John.
Yeah, two first names and double barrels really stands out.
That's a random.
Imagine if it's your company, you probably say it's not fair, but it probably happened that way. You know?
James John King.
No, I wouldn't look at someone. I wouldn't look at someone's surname.
Weird.
I wouldn't look at someone's surname before giving them an interview. I'd look at their CV.
No, I'd look at their CV and look at the person. But generally, overall, people do actually prefer certain names. I think so.
I think that's ludicrous.
We should go through a list and see all different names and different companies.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
That would be quite nice.
I think we've got time for one more news article.
Yes, we do. This one, it's not strange, but apparently the dustbin men have the right to refuse to collect your bin if it's full.
Yeah.
Like if they can't close the that lid, they can say no.
I've had it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
I've had it.
Actually, do you know what my dad used to do? I shouldn't say. I keep saying sort of things.
You should go on.
He used to slip them a £5 and they used to take everything, like extra rubbish and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now they won't even pick up what's on the floor. I mean, they'll pick it up, they'll put it in your bin, but then they won't collect the bin. And
So you have to leave it there. So all
yeah,
the
you have
rats
to
come
wait
and
till
everything.
next week because you have to push everything down. I don't know. Are we changing roles here? Do we pick up our own bin and kind of take it to the bin place? I don't understand, but maybe it's because they want to make things a bit lighter for them. Because if you think about it,
all they have to do is hook it to the thing and the machine.
but then sometimes it'll probably fall over because it's full,
Health and safety, isn't it?
and it
Rules
won't be
and
really.
regulations now.
Yeah.
Because
health
I
and safety.
remember-
Let's just have rats running everywhere. That's
Well,
fine.
yeah.
All right.
You
So
know,
if
it goes
enough of this
over.
rubbish talk.
I just got that. Enough is wrong. But just that if the lid was closed, then you won't have rats running around. But it's because it's so full, it's overflowing with rubbish, that the rats come to play.
Okay, and on that note, we are going to go to a quick break. You're both going to stay with me today.
Okay.
Some of our guests have been held up, so they're not coming to the studio, but we will be speaking to them by phone and Skype, but I will be getting their opinion as well on obsession. When is it a healthy interest in something, and when is it something seriously obsessive? Do join us after this break.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and today we're speaking about obsession. Now, the reason I wanted to do this particular program was after a program that I watched about One Direction fans. Now, these girls literally follow this band constantly, like 24/7. They don't seem to do anything else. They follow them on Twitter, they follow them on Facebook. Every single thing that they do, they know about. And it was quite disturbing watching it, actually, because it's like they go crazy and they cry when something happens, and if, for example, they don't post something, then they get upset. So, and there was actually allegedly one fan that posted, "Follow me on Twitter or I'll break my dog's neck." Now, it seemed like she had actually killed her pet chihuahua because she really wanted, because the band apparently didn't answer her. But the other people said it was a hoax. I'm not really sure, but I won't put it past some people to do that, because I've spoken to other celebs who they were telling me that they actually get messages and tweets and stuff that if you don't follow me, if you don't respond to my tweet, I'm going to kill myself. And it's horrible. And when you see these kind of things, you're like, oh my gosh, part of you wants to answer, but then you think, but when's it going to end? Because once the person gets you hooked in, but it is an obsession. They want you so much. They want to know you so much that they just go crazy. What do you think?
I think that's crazy to have an obsession that much. I mean, there's got to be other things going on in life, because when these bands go and they move on, and then later on, everybody's forgotten about that person, haven't they? They've forgotten about who they are, what happened, what they do, but it seems so drastic to them at that point, It's pretty sad.
It's just horrible watching it as well. I mean, I just remember sort of watching like Michael Jackson's concert stuff, and people screaming and people passing out, and it's like, oh my God, get a life. Yeah. It's too much. Okay, you can have an interest in someone and like a band and like a celebrity, but to be fainting and to be screaming and crying if they look in your direction, it's like, oh my God.
Makes you wonder what goes on in the mind.
I'm guilty of that.
Oh no, Rihanna, tell me, what did you do?
I did. Well, many years ago, there was this festival here in Finsbury Park called Jam in the Park, and Destiny's Child came.
You didn't scream and faint, did you?
I did. I pushed myself to get all the way to the front, me and my cousin, and then when Destiny's Child came out, and I was like, I couldn't. I was really, really sad. I screamed and I screamed. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she looked at me. She pointed at me. It was me she pointed at." But at the time, you're so caught up, you don't realise what you're doing. You just think like, "No, she really did look at me." And you feel.
And so what if she did? She's a human being. This is the thing I want to get across to people. They're just
mad.
human beings. They're like me and you. They just happen to sing. They just happen to be on TV. That's all.
So yeah, because I think I was telling you this like a couple of weeks ago. I was saying I just realised that I was screaming over another human being. Like this is another person, another female, and I was screaming just like a crazy person.
But you don't have those tendencies anymore, do you?
No. Oh, this was very, 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 very long time ago. I think it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's not that's not healthy at all. But we are going to be speaking to our counsellor afterwards as well. But first of all, I'd like to speak to Debbie Wood and her partner Steve, who we have on Skype. Good evening. Good evening.
Hi.
Hi, Debbie. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Not too bad. Almost ready for Christmas.
Oh, thank you. You too. So, Debbie, tell us about what was happening between you and Steve then, because you were actually, I saw some headlines saying that you were the most jealous woman in the world. What was all that about?
Allegedly, yes. I'm sure there's other people who are worthy of the title. But, yeah, apparently it was just one of those things that happens, you know, you can get yourself into a routine where you feel like you're constantly having to check on your partner because you feel like they're going to be cheating on you or they're going to be unfaithful, and therefore, you know, you start to look for things to see if they are going to be unfaithful, to see how far that you can trust them. And sometimes it just, you don't know where the line starts between, you know, regular jealousy and then morbid jealousy. It just happens. There's no control. There's nothing to say, okay, this is A and this is B, and we're driving down the road from A to B. As you can see the stop signs, you can see all the road signs. But when you have this kind of condition, it's not like that. You just go straight from A to B and you have no way of knowing when you're at B until you realise something's not quite right.
Now, was this just with Steve that it happened, or was this with any previous boyfriends as well?
It was more so worse with Steve. Because there was a slight deception at the start of the relationship because he was seeing somebody else at the same time, and he told me that he wasn't. So I feel that was the actual trigger of this. And like I tell him, even though, you know, I did have an abusive past relationship, they haven't done to me what he did to me. That was there, that was that relationship. This is this relationship. I am only going on by how you treated me and what you done.
Okay. So what kind of things would you do? Because I saw your interview. Was it on, forgotten the program you're on now? This morning, that's it. And you were actually getting Steve to have to do a lie detector test, is that right?
Well, yeah, because I wanted to sort of like build up an element of trust with him, because I thought, well, you know, this is going to be one way of being able to do that, as, you know, okay, if the light comes up saying that he's telling me the truth, then I'll know he's being honest with me. And so if it keeps coming up with one light, I know he's going to be honest with me. Therefore, I can build up that element of trust. But then it's a case of, a lot of the time, it was kind of like, you know, inconclusive, or it was shown that he was lying. And obviously, you know, I took into account the fact that it could be nerves and different things like that. And then I'd actually tested the test as well, just to see how accurate the test would be. So I asked him a mundane question like, is your mum alive? He said yes, and it showed that he was lying. I thought, okay, there's something wrong here with the test. So obviously I'm going to have to try to get some help, because if I can't believe what the test is telling me, and I'm having doubts as to what he is telling me as to whether it's the truth or not, then I need some help from myself. Obviously the issue is with me.
Right. Steve, how about you? How were you feeling when all this was going on?
Well, I knew to a certain degree it was my fault. I mean, you know, I did things at the start of this that I really shouldn't have done. So I was kind of prepared for some kind of backlash, I guess. With regards to the lie detector test, I mean, from my point of view, anything I can do to build up my trust in Deb, then I'm willing to do that. You know, I'm aware that she's got a very traumatic past, shall we say. And therefore, I know that it's a very sensitive relationship, even without anything else. So, anything I can do to help Deb build up trust in me, I'm more than willing to do that. Because when you love somebody, you're willing to give anything a go and put faith in pretty much anything.
Hence why I got the lie detector test.
Yeah.
Okay, do you still have it? Do you still use it?
Actually, we do still have it, but I don't use it anymore. He wanted to keep it, I wanted to bin it. I don't bother with it anymore. I'm just like, enough is enough. But he's like, no, keep it, because then this time next year we can look back and see how far we've come.
Now, Debbie, you actually were diagnosed with, was it Othello syndrome?
Yes, it's a psychiatric disorder of the mind which causes you to believe that your partner is being unfaithful,
Right.
even
Okay.
on little or no evidence at all.
Right. And did it make it a bit easier for you both once you discovered that you had this condition, like sort of to make sense of everything?
Well, yes, it did, because the fact that, once you know that you've got a problem, you can get help. If you don't realise you have a problem, then you can't get help. And that's why I came forward, because I know from the kind of stories that I've heard when I used to work as a psychic, that, there's lots of different people who have this kind of struggle. And obviously, there is like I said, the more, shall I say, less dramatic side to jealousy. There's the normal jealousy, and then there's the abnormal jealousy, the morbid jealousy.
But how are things today between you?
They're a lot better. I mean, they aren't 100% perfect, but we are working on it. The doctor has changed my medication. I spoke to my psychiatric nurse, and they gave me different medication to try compared to the one that I was on before. I'm just waiting for that to kick in.
Okay.
So you can imagine I'm a bit of a nightmare at the moment.
So are you engaged now or married?
No, but we are engaged.
You're engaged.
I just used my partner's last name because of the fact that I didn't want any comeback from any exes or on my kids and things like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to protect my kids, I'm using my partner's name at the moment with all the publicity.
Okay. Debbie, what do you love about Steve?
I just love about everything about him, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, he can be annoying at times. Drives me mental. But I do love him, and they do say that there is no true love without a touch of jealousy. I don't think you could really be loving anybody if you don't have a...
I agree. I think that a bit of jealousy is healthy. I have to agree. How about you, Steve? Just before we...
But at least I can book the house of having followed.
Okay. And just very quickly, Steve, before we go to a break, what do you have to say about Debbie? What do you love about her?
Again, everything, okay, so she gets jealous, but to me that just shows that she cares. All I've ever wanted in life is to be with someone who loves me, who cares about me and respects me, and Deb does all those things and more. When we are good, we gel perfectly together. We laugh about the same things, we've got the same kind of music taste, she's got an amazing personality. And I absolutely admire that, and I think she looks absolutely stunning, even though people have commented rather nasty things about that. To me, she looks amazing.
That's brilliant. All right, let's go to a quick break, and then we're back after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Let's have a look at this video and see what you think, whether this is a healthy reaction to this situation or if it's obsessive. And I'll ask our two guests tonight as well. Take a look.
Hey, babe.
Hey,
Hey.
what's good? This
surprise. How you doing? You alright? Why are you here? Oh,
Hi.
okay, see you later. Why are you here? What's going on?
I was just coming to see how you are. How are you?
I'm good. You want your lunch? What's
Yeah, I've got a half day today, remember?
Oh, yeah,
How
of
are you?
course. Yeah, no, I kind of forgot about that. Oh, okay, cool.
Looking cosy here.
Yeah, I'm just, boy, there's a lot to do, and I'm just gonna get. I was just about to get myself some coffee. Do you want a drink? Do you want anything?
I'd love one.
Okay.
Thank you, babe. I'm in. I texted you earlier. Did you get it?
No, I didn't.
I just checked because I did text you. I just checked, see if you got it.
Oh, see Joe over there.
Not even my messages are on there though. So do you delete them?
I don't really store them. I mean, like memory, I've got like pictures and whatnot on there, so like I don't really keep them. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You sure? You're acting a bit. Don't know.
Yeah, you can sit here. I'm going.
Thanks. You sure you're alright?
I'll see you at home.
You didn't even finish your coffee. Babe. You might just press X. They press X on the keyboard. You'll click on it. So move them up back here, and it will move up to the screen. File like all files. Stop swallowing. There you go.
Oh, nice one.
See, I'm thinking of getting one of those. Oh, wow, she's really into this whole ancient stuff, like ancient Greece, ancient Egypt,
You should
everything.
definitely get one for her.
So I have to go to Egypt to get it.
No. They sell stuff like this on Portobello Road.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, get one for her.
Yeah, I
You're
think she'll
always
like
talking about her. It's so
that.
sweet.
She's my world,
I
man.
gotta get on.
Okay, so was that a normal reaction, do you think, or was it a bit obsessive? What do you guys think?
I don't think that's normal. That can't be a normal reaction. You have half day and you just turn up. You're going to spend the rest of your day off sitting there. It's like she doesn't trust him. So I think when you're obsessed, there's this lack of trust where you think you're going to be betrayed, something's going to happen. So that's not normal. I mean, if she stuck around a bit longer, then she would have seen that he was actually doing that for her, or because he wanted to get her the necklace. Even though it did look a bit fishy, I mean, he didn't help. But still, that's just not healthy.
It's not really
What do you think,
healthy
Chris?
at all in any kind of way, because chances are, if she carried on like that, she'll actually make that happen. She'll drive him into that situation. I'm thinking, well, because to be that obsessed, to take that time off, to go looking at everything and going through, it's not really a relationship, really, is it? At the end of the day, it's a matter of someone's insecurity and trying to, stabilise themselves by justifying themselves for a situation which they believe is going to happen.
Although if in the past he'd given her a reason to distrust him, that's a different issue as well, because maybe, for example, think of a scenario where he may have cheated on her before and now she's feeling insecure about it, and I think that is normal to feel that way. Okay, you can say, all right, from now on I'll trust you, but I think that takes time to build again, especially if you decide, if you've been cheated on and you decide to stay with your partner. It does take some time and a bit of hard work on the other side as well to actually
prove yourself.
Yeah, to prove yourself, exactly. So if that's the case, then I would say I don't think it's too obsessive. It's a little bit too much, but I think in this same situation, I would probably check.
If
check.
he
I would
had
check.
given her a reason,
If
then
something
if he had given her a reason.
But the lady sitting right next to him on the desk, I thought was too much.
Yeah, she
I
was.
wouldn't have liked that.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I'd have marched in there, be like, "Oi, you off the desk." And it's crazy because
No one would dare cheat on you, Rihanna.
no, you can't sit on the desk. Why? There are chairs. We have chairs for a reason. So get off right now.
Exactly. All right, but I think hopefully we have Michelle Bassam on the line. Good evening, Michelle, who's a counselling psychologist at Harley Therapy. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, I don't know if you could hear any of what we were saying, but we're talking about obsession today.
Okay.
Now, why is it you think that people get obsessed about things or people?
An obsession is something when it actually interferes with everyday life, either life actions or it interferes with love. And it usually stems quite deeply from the past, when people have been hurt, they've been let down possibly during childhood, or a relationship hasn't worked out properly, or with a boss or a work situation, or they've had a great loss. It doesn't mean that when I'm saying a great loss, it doesn't mean necessarily a death. Even losing possessions, a house repossession. And then after that, it could cause quite easily an obsessive behaviour.
Right. And how, if someone is a bit obsessive about a relationship, what could the other party do to maybe reassure the person that things are actually okay?
Okay. This happens a lot if somebody's gone off and had an affair, I'm afraid. But then the couple decide that they're going to continue working at the relationship and stay together. If we can be as open as possible with our partner, then we're not giving them any reason to start going through our emails or things like that. Because once we start that, it actually breaks away trust and it builds. So unfortunately, that's where communication. So the more we can get the communication back on track, then the obsession will start to dissolve.
Now, I was speaking earlier about these young fans being really obsessed with these boy bands and stuff. What do you think about that? It's quite over the top, isn't it?
It's very over the top, and unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it's because they have nothing else to really focus on. And that is the way of the world at the moment. We tend to focus on people who appear to be successful, and so we actually strive to actually like them with a view that we could become their partner with these boy bands and the young girls, or that we could have a lifestyle that they are able to offer us, because as a human race, we are quite obsessed with objects and possessions, unfortunately.
Yeah, very unfortunate. And what advice? Did you have any advice for parents whose maybe teenage daughter or whoever is maybe obsessed with a celebrity? What they can maybe do to get them focused on something else?
Okay. It's being careful for parents. It's just being careful that it doesn't step over the line. And when we're saying step over the line, it doesn't interfere with your son or daughter's everyday life, i.e. their schooling, their social activity out away from computers, i.e. the actually interaction with friends, their exercise. It's looking at life as a whole and thinking, does this actually interfere with my daughter or son's everyday existence? If it does, it's becoming obsessive, and it's actually discussing it with them. What is it about that person that attracts them in that way? And start actually showing an interest, but a healthy interest, so that you can start to have a greater understanding where your son or daughter is actually coming from.
Okay, that's great advice, Michelle. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, that's great advice for parents, isn't it? Yeah.
That's brilliant advice. I mean, I totally agree with what Michelle said about people not having anything else going on in their life.
Yeah.
So their main focus in... And do you know the other thing? It's media. It pushes everything so beautiful, this great lifestyle, and everybody wants it. So they want a part of that person as well at the same time. It's crazy. It really is.
Now, Chris, we were speaking just before we go to the break, we were speaking earlier about being obsessed with training, and I was saying, I'd tell the viewers, why I was so obsessed with training. As I said, I was in the gym almost every day, weight training, lifting very heavy weights.
Right.
And also doing lots of aerobics classes, one after the other. And it wasn't because I particularly enjoyed it, but it's because it made me feel better, because as you both know, and some of our viewers as well, I was very depressed. And actually, when I did weights, I started to feel a little bit that much better, just a little bit, but it was worth all of that just to feel a bit better than what I was feeling. But I got so strong, and I was doing I went to do a training course for weightlifting, and then I was offered a place to train for the British team as well for weightlifters.
Wow.
Wow, that's serious.
And I was like, and I was thinking back, and I'm thinking, I wonder if they if they actually knew what was going on inside, because it was like, I even wrote about this recently, it was like I was so strong, but it was like I was trying to push the depression out. And I think that's what you just get, this kind of, I think, not abnormal strength, I think, when you are going through a problem, you're trying to use that exercise or use that thing to, you push yourself too much. And that's when you can also see, for people looking from the outside, I think that's where you can actually see that this is not healthy. There's something wrong, there's something going on. Because people thought I was just good at it, but actually it was because I was going through so much. I was just trying to use that to get over the problem.
And you picked a point because of something else which pushed you in that direction, which caused an obsession at the end of the day. I mean, my one was, I said, I used to train all the time as well, and mine was martial arts, right from school always up. But it was, I put things in my head that would say like, well, I've got to get up and train in the morning, because if I don't, this is going to happen to a member of my family or whatnot. Or,
God,
you know,
weird,
it was terrible, but it was, I was doing it to myself to get as good as I can get. That's what it was. And when you think about it, the thing of getting as good as you can get, it was replacing other things at the same time, you know? So your one was replacing what he was going through, depression. Same here. It was replacing lack in other areas. You know, I've got a friend that I used to know, and he's exactly the same. He's in the gym all the time, but he has actually an addiction as well. So he does this instead, so he won't be addicted to what he's addicted to.
See, if it's used as an escape, it's something you can't do. Definitely obsession. All right, because you're going to stay with us, because we're going to go to our self-development clinic. Rihanna, thank you so much for your input today. And we'll see you again after the break for the self-development clinic with Chris Brown.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back, and now we are in the self-development clinic with Chris Brown. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Chrissy. How are we doing?
Well, we have seen each other.
I know, just from over there to over there, isn't it? Yeah, but you know what? You was talking just a while ago about obsessions.
Yes.
And we said earlier on about healthy obsessions as well.
But I don't see how an obsession can be healthy.
Right. Good point. Think about people who've actually broken through in obsessions they've had. Do you remember, I remember looking at this program at David Beckham some time back. Like when he was a kid and playing football and had footage when he was young. Somebody might have said, well, that was an obsession. But he carried on, You think about people like Michael Jordan as well, basketball. Kicked out, everything, obsession, carried on. They wouldn't be who they are today if they didn't have that healthy obsession.
Yeah, but maybe, like as we heard from Michelle earlier, maybe they had an interest in other things as well. It's like it didn't take over their whole life. They still maybe spoke to their family. They still do those normal kind of things. Yes,
but at the same time, let's put it this way. It's funny because Rihanna was saying earlier on, healthy interest or healthy obsession. Back to that martial arts thing I was talking about as well. At that time, I would have thought that was a healthy obsession because that time it was really good.
Yeah.
And if I'd carry on that way, it'd probably be, just in that field alone or whatnot. But the adverse side is, well, the negatives, like you said, the cutting out, the isolating, all these sort of things and making it one focus. It's not really a full balanced life, which doesn't lead. Which leads to what I'm talking about, achievers today. Because most achievers and high achievers either have fulfillment in their life, balance, and also a process. So they know exactly what they're doing. Fulfilled in what they're actually doing. They've got a balance all round. And the process, they practically got a strategic way of planning things, getting it together, right? So there's two ways of actually looking at it as well. Now, thinking about that, I'm going to say this, I mentioned this last time and I'll say it straight here. The way you thought yesterday brought you where you are today. The way you think today will take you where you want to be tomorrow. Good, isn't it?
Very
Think
good.
about it, yes? Right. Now, the thing about it, the first bit, the way you thought you were yesterday, the way you thought yesterday, obviously that's about taking responsibility. If you are thinking about being a high achiever, taking responsibility for whatever happened in the past before. Forget about blaming others, taking responsibility. The way you think today, obviously, will let's say, lay out your future for tomorrow at the end of the day. So in saying that, we're saying, well, look, we've got to actually set goals for the future, but you've got to take care of the things behind first. So to set goals as a high achiever, you've got to actually start planning it from now. And when we say plan it from now, sometimes we say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, but it's all in well saying it, but it's actually doing it and putting a plan. Now, if I said I want to travel to wherever on the road, I need to get a map, or I get TomTom or whatever. I work out where I'm going to go. So I've got to work out a strategic plan, how to set these goals and say what I'm actually going to do along the way to make this happen and be very practical about it. You know. Now, in saying that as well, talking about practical, there's a very good way of actually setting goals to making sure that they do actually happen.
Oh, tell us.
Yes? Okay. Now, one, sometimes we set goals and we set massive goals that go on for about 2 years, a year or so, and we don't actually do anything about it. We don't put a timing on it. Instead, we say, oh, in a year's time, I'll be doing so and so, right? So here's one. Think about this. 2 weeks. We're talking about January now. 2 weeks, that's half a month, right? Another 2 weeks on top of that, that's a month, which I mentioned before. Another 2 weeks on top of that, that's 6 weeks, that's a month and a half. Another 2 weeks on top of that, 8 weeks, 2 months. You've got 10 months to go for the end of the year. Now, if you carried on with that, got a diary, wrote down from this date to today, 2 weeks on, look back where you were, another 2 weeks on, look back, you'd see already you progressed in the direction you want to go. So your goal might have been, that's a short-term one. Now you've got the medium. The medium would be saying something like 3 months on. So 2 weeks, bite size for about 3 months. 3 months from there, look back, you're halfway there already. Another 3 months, 6 months, you've hit your goal. Depends specifically on what your goal is or what it is specifically that you're actually working towards. You could make it 6 months. Another 6 months on from there, you've achieved it already. A lot of high achievers, you've got to really work out and plan what you're going to do that. Because I might say, all right, do it in 2 weeks, do this in 2 weeks, but what are you actually going to do within those 2 weeks? That's the main thing here. Now, talking about that, I've actually jotted down a few things. Now, there's an example of that, the 2 weeks. Imagine if you worked in sales and you said, I want to raise my sales up by 25%, right? It's all well saying that. That's a great goal to actually have. But how are you actually going to do it? That's the thing about it. So if you're working out how you're going to do it, now think about it. So if I said, well, I've got stock I need to sell and I'm going to take something like 10% off, right? So 10% off, obviously I'm going to get a lot more clients coming. They're going to be buyers, a lot of buyers at the end of the day. I would be in the area of hitting that 25% already. So I've done something practically, worked it out to make sure it does happen. So the way of making sure it does happen is one, setting the timing, which I will say over and over again, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Keep doing it that way. Have a marker, look in the diary, see what you've done in 2 weeks, right? The other one is working out practically what you are actually going to do to actually hit those goals.
And I think that's where a lot of people fail, isn't it? Because they kind of just wish things to happen. They wish like for sales to go up and stuff, but they don't actually do anything different.
No, exactly. They don't do anything different and they keep wishing and hoping, but back to the same thing I always say, to have things never had, got to do things never done. I repeat that so many times. So that is actually that. Doing something different that's going to make a difference. And it's not only making a difference for you, it's making a difference for those around you as well. Now, I'm not saying get obsessed about your goal, but it's healthy to be a little bit obsessed about that goal to that point, to manage your time better, manage what you're going to do. It's funny, I myself have set some goals this week. And it's funny because I looked and I thought, well, if I could work this out in 2 weeks, but the program that I'm actually doing, it's a course that I'm doing, a program. I started working on it before I actually got on a course instead. Whereas before when I did it, it wasn't that way. It was a lot harder. So I thought, well, this is going to be a breeze this time because actually I've planned it through, which I would advise to a lot of people. Plan it through. Get a vision in your mind first. See the end vision before you've even started. Once you can actually see the end vision, you will actually be able to be guided in that direction. Your thoughts, everything you're doing is towards that goal at the end of the day. Not obsession, but towards it at the end of the day, right? Now, the thing about it is, I'm actually working with a great colleague of mine at the present moment. and he works in the medical field, and we put together this program which is to do exactly that. It's called Invaluable Change. And when we say invaluable change, there is no price that you can put on changing your life at the end of the day.
That's
right?
true.
So in saying that, like you said to me, well, how can we actually do this? We're actually putting on this program, a seminar, and it's going to be in November. Sorry, it's not in November, because that's a long way away in November, isn't it? I'm thinking another way. Right, it's going to be on February. Let's get it right. It's in February on the 27th, right, at Bloomsbury Hotel. And I'd advise people to actually come down there. If they're actually looking for a change, I'd advise you to come down there and come on board, you know. And if you did actually want to come on board, right, on this, I mean, they can actually contact you for details. And okay. And it's www.eventbrite, Invaluable Change, right? Look at Invaluable Change. Okay. Now, in saying that, furthermore than that, what I'd like to say is this. If you're actually looking for a way of actually changing at this moment, you're actually going through it at this present moment, after the show, go away and actually do this. 2 weeks. Actually put dates. Mark it in your diary, on your phone, whatever, and write them. Work out backwards first. What have I actually got to do from today or from tomorrow morning? You know, it'd be good to hear actually what happens with individuals.
Definitely.
You know, be great. Yeah. So, change. Achievers, high achievers, work out their plans. Go for it.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much for your participation in the whole of the show today, actually. Thank you so much.
It's been fun.
Okay, and I hope you've also enjoyed the show today. But just going back to what we were talking about earlier about obsession, if you are actually obsessed with something or someone, that also points to an insecurity, obviously, within yourself. And the way that I was obsessed, as I said, with the training, the weight training, I was also very obsessed with my boyfriend, which caused me to be very jealous and treat him in a very bad way. And it was only when I got help for my problems that I was going through, when I got counselling, when I got the help that I did, that obsession it went, basically. I wasn't obsessed with the training anymore. I still train, I still do weight training, but I'm not obsessed with it anymore. I love my husband very much, but I'm not obsessed with him. And there's a huge difference between the two. So do get help for whatever you're going through. If you feel like you are obsessed with something, make sure you talk to someone about it. And you can also email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv if you need more help and information with that. So that's it for today, and we'll see you again next time on the Chrissy B Show. Bye-bye for now.